Hey, hello, friends. It is Thursday, December 17th, and we are looking at our Advent Daily Devotion. We are in the Gospel of John, looking at John's Christmas story, and very similar to Mark's, it's not the Christmas story that we think of when we think of Nativity. However, John's Christmas story and what Christmas means to John and what the coming in flesh of Jesus means to John is something that is very similar to Matthew, Mark, and Luke, but John has his own unique perspective as well. And this week's or today's daily devotion is called Blinding Light, and it comes to us from John chapter 9, as I'm looking at my Advent daily devotion, and it's the miracle that Jesus performs for the man who has been born blind. If you remember from the scripture as you've read it, the Pharisees and his disciples asked him, not the Pharisees, disciples asked, why was this man born blind? Was it his sins, his parents' sin? And Jesus said, none of the above. And we'll get to what Jesus' answer was in just a second. But the question really is talking about the kinds of blindness. This man was born into a physical blindness. However, we can't miss the parallel of the fact that we're born into spiritual blindness as well. And so one of the questions that I asked today was compare and contrast this blindness with our own blindness. And so if we look at the contrast between this story in John and our own lives, our own story, the contrasts are Adam's sin causes our spiritual blindness, and Noah's sin causes physical blindness. It's that was the long-held belief of the Jews, is that the sins of the father was passed down to the son in the ways of physical handicaps, but that's not the case at all. The biggest concern is the spiritual blindness, and we are born guilty because of Adam's sin. So there's a contrast there between physical and spiritual blindness. Again, the contrast is it's spiritual versus physical blindness. If we compare these things, and this is where it really gets good. First of all, both that man and we are born blind. A different kind of blindness, but we're born blind. And the only way that the man would be healed was through God's work. And the only way that we're healed is through God's work in Jesus Christ. But the beauty is what Jesus says. This man was born blind so that the power of God could be shown. And the same is true for our spiritual blindness. We're born spiritually dead. But the power of God is shown when Christ enters into our life and takes up residence and gives us his Spirit, and the power of God is shown directly, and that is a miracle. It's God's work, and it is we are born into spiritual blindness, and the power of God is shown miraculously in our life. I hope you have a great day, and that you just have a good time reading through John as we gear up for the fourth Sunday of Advent, coming up in just a few short days. Have a great day.